Hey everyone, it's me, Chris, and my persuasive speech is on wildlife conservation and preservation. So, if you didn't know, rhinos are one of the most dangerous animals in Africa. And if you also didn't know this fact, rhinos are incredibly fast. Not as fast as a cheetah or a horse, but they're really fast for their size, for the big body mass that a rhino has. They're really impressively fast. I really want to talk about black rhinos. Now, all rhinos are critically endangered. Now, what's cool about the black rhino is this animal is not like, so there's two types of rhinos. There's the white rhino who's more low to the ground, bigger and stockier, and is a grazer, so it eats grass, mostly grass. Now, black rhinos have longer legs and have a mouth that's like this, where they use to like grab leaves and bushes and stuff. That's what they primarily eat, is leaves and bushes. And rhinos have horrible eyesight. They really cannot see well. That's why they're really dangerous, and they really have high testosterone. They're not really intelligent, but they're not like dumb, but they're not like super smart. They're not like a chimpanzee or anything. Now, there's one animal in Africa that is not afraid of the rhino at all, because it has a symbiotic relationship with the rhino. It is a oryx pecker. Now, this bird will sit on top of the rhino and pick the mosquitoes and the ticks and all the other parasites and keep the rhino clean, which is really, so they work together in that way. It eats and the rhino stays healthy. So it's just really neat about those animals. And my main goal in life is to really teach people and show people the amazing wildlife that lives on our planet, because I feel like most people are not connected with our wildlife, and most people are more self-absorbed, more about themselves. And my main goal is to show the world and save these animals that if we are gone, we will lose. And if we don't have them, then that's it for those animals. And it's unfortunately sad if that was to happen. So, the cool thing I want to tell you about, so in how humans kind of mess up the ecosystem. So in Australia is a very weird, bizarre place, because there are no true mammals that live there. No horses, nothing like that naturally live there. Primarily marsupials. Australia is a very odd place in the whole world. So in Australia, they have marsupials like your kangaroos, so your red gray kangaroos, your wallabies, your wombats, your Tasmanian devils, and all that stuff, and saltwater crocodiles, and your venomous snakes, and your spiders, okay, and some birds like cockatoos and all that fun stuff. Now, with people coming into Australia, they brought with them camels, donkeys, dingoes, and a plethora of other animals. Water buffalo, if you didn't know, there are water buffalo that live in Australia. Camels and donkeys too. So these animals that were never naturally occurring there are there. They're called an invasive species, like the Burmese pythons and tegus in Florida, and iguanas. These animals were brought there and not supposed to be there. Now, when people first got there was an apex predator that lived in Australia. Now, I'm going to tell you something about convergent evolution. So, convergent evolution is where, like, for example, a shark and a dolphin. So, the dolphin and the shark have similar body styles. They have similar body styles in a way that, like, to get through the water. Now, dolphins, they move in this kind of motion like this, and sharks swim like this. Now, sharks unfortunately cannot stop swimming because they will die. Now, there are a few species that don't need to do that, but most of them do, to keep fresh water going through their gills. Now, back on convergent evolution, there was an animal, a top predator in Australia at the time, before people really messed it up, unfortunately, because this is an amazing animal, and science doesn't really know as much as they should about it. It's called the Tasmanian tiger. Now, this animal is not a tiger. It's more closely related to like a kangaroo or a Tasmanian devil. It's a marsupial, so it had a pouch, and it was not really like a true canid, but it was very odd because it looked like a canine. It looked like a wolf in a way, but it served that ecological niche of being a carnivore, so it adapted to become like this. So it looks just like a wolf or something, and has stripes of a tiger, but it's not. It's a marsupial. It's mostly related to kangaroos than it is wolves, even though they're in the mammalian family. Marsupials are their own little weird niche, because you have like platypuses and all these other animals that like platypus lay eggs and all that weird stuff. But what happened to the Tasmanian tiger is people came to Australia with sheep. Now, some parts of Australia is not desert, just some grasslands a little bit. So they brought their sheep and their cattle, and they were really worried about these animals killing their sheep. Now, with the unfortunate habitat loss and food shortages, these animals would sometimes get cheap. But most of these animals were just hunted down for no reason, just for farmers' peace of mind. And unfortunately, most of the Tasmanian tigers died out on the mainland of Australia. I want to say 100 years after people got there. Then there was a few remaining left in Tasmania, but they also are unfortunately gone, which is really sad because these animals are very interesting, very neat of evolution. But now there's the top predator in saltwater crocodiles, who are the primarily dominant species, and the dingoes, who were brought by the people from the islands far off the coast of Australia, have taken over that place. And also the dingoes probably didn't help with the Tasmanian tigers' extinction, because they have taken that place of top predator in Australia by keeping everything in check. See, the thing is a balance. You need a balance for a healthy ecosystem. If you take, say, for example, like our Tasmanian tiger, you take him away, the population of wombats and kangaroos and wallabies will go crazy. But with the introduction of the dingo, that has just taken place of the top predator there, besides the saltwater crocodiles. Saltwater crocodiles are not like running down, chasing kangaroos. They're ambush predators. They live in like the billabongs and swamps of Australia and in the waterways. They are the true kings of Australia, but they are not the top land predator. They're not. Crocodiles are really good in the water, but some species like the Cuban croc are really fast on land. They gallop like horses, which is fascinating. If you ever want to see something kind of scary, Google Cuban croc running. You're like, whoa, this is some Jurassic Park type stuff. But you really see how people impact our environment with pollution and plastic waste and deforestation. These animals are losing their habitat. If you didn't know, in the wild, in Texas, there are more tigers than there are tigers in the wild, and that is sad. I want to say the last time I checked, it was about 6,000 tigers left, not a lot. And with the show Tiger King, really didn't help that in a way, because when people use animals for profit, it makes me sick. I've never been a person driven by money. I've always wanted to educate and teach people about wildlife, and it was really sad and really disheartening. You see how some people treat these animals. It's just profit. And it's really sad. And my biggest thing is the underdog animals. So like your crocodiles, your snakes, your sharks, your spiders. I want to show you guys how amazing, because most people like animals like dogs and cats and the fluffy ones, like your dogs and cats. Most people like dogs and cats, and that's about it. But I really in my heart, this has always been I really have a passion for these other animals that are misunderstood and treated like villains, like your crocodiles and your sharks, and your spiders. Sharks and crocodiles have been on this planet for millions of years. They were here before us, and they'll be here after us if we keep the oceans safe and stop overfishing our oceans. It's really neat how the sharks and crocodiles have been on this planet since the dinosaurs, even before. Some sharks and crocs were here before the dinosaurs. It's really impressive how amazing these animals are. And crocodiles can have like one of the best immune systems ever. I want to say there was a study done where they put the AIDS virus in crocodile blood, and it beat it. Impressive, I know. Something that's hard for people to beat, and it takes so many people away. Crocodiles just knocked it under the rug. Really impressive. And snakes. A lot of people are afraid of snakes. I want to say it's an innate fear that people have in their head of snakes, and it's really sad to see that. It's just like a natural fear of a venomous snake and stuff. But if you leave them alone, they won't bother you. I promise you. And spiders too. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed my speech, and I hope you learned something, and I hope you get this drive and passion like I do to save our planet and save our wildlife. I had an amazing time. I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day, and take care. And bye.